Girls, this is Rhoda, the roving reader. I am here today because you know it's something special this month. Let me think. Oh yeah, I remember now. It's Autism Awareness Month. And I bet you some people don't even know what autism is. Well, that's okay because I've got a book. You know, we can find so much information in books. That's why I love to read. So Rhoda's going to read your book today. Sit back and relax for the next 10 minutes or so. All right, I'm going to look at the cover. I see some people on the cover. They're all talking, and this little kid right here, he's writing, looks like to me. I see things differently. A First Look at Autism by Pat Thomas. All right, let's turn the page and find out what's in this book. Because I'm Rhoda, and I love to read. Let's see how he sees things differently. I see things differently. Look at the people in here. Look at the kids over here. Do you know what it feels like to be worried or nervous? Or to feel different from other people? I do. I look different than other people, and they're always looking at me. So yeah, I got that feeling down. Next page. Scroll over. We all feel these things sometimes, but people who have autism feel these things a lot more than normal people do. So they feel anxious and nervous more frequently. Next page. You probably know someone with autism. I do. I know lots of kids. I even know some adults with autism, and that's okay. It could be someone at school. It could be someone in your neighborhood. It could be somebody in your own family. Look at here. Here's a family. That's good. You may have seen them behaving in ways that seem strange to you, and you wonder why they do these things. But even if you ask them, they might not be able to tell you why. In fact, some people with autism, some of them don't even speak at all. So they use a device to help them talk, or maybe they use signs. Autism is something you are born with. It is not something that you can catch from others. You can't just go up to somebody and touch them and be autistic. No, it doesn't happen like that, boys and girls. You're born that way. You can't help that. When people have autism, it affects the way their brain works, making them behave or react differently from others. So that you might see some kids covering their ears, wearing headphones in the cafeteria because the noise is way too loud. In fact, I walk in that cafeteria, I'm telling you what, that noise is loud even for Rhoda. But I don't need headphones because I can sort of ignore some of it. But imagine if you had autism or you are very sensitive in hearing and the noise sounds like a football game. Even though you're not in a football game, you're really just in a cafeteria. But the noise sounds much louder to them. It says, nobody knows exactly what causes it. And they're trying to figure out, is it easy? Because the way your brain works is very complicated. Even doctors can't figure it out sometimes. Ay, ay, ay. Look at her trying to talk to them. Or, our brains help us make sense of the world all around us. They help us learn from the things we do and see. They help us understand that if someone is smiling, that means they're happy. That's what your brain does. You see somebody smiling, your brain says, "Ooh, that person is happy." People with autism, their brains work a little different. Sometimes they can't even really look at your face because there's so many things going on in your face, your eyes, your mouth, the way your nose goes up when you talk sometimes. Oh, so much. Oh, and people with autism sometimes can't even look at your face. Oh, too much. I can't look. There's too much going on in your face. That's good. All right, next page. Or that the green pencil works just as well as the red pencil. Or if you put the peanut butter on first and then the jam, it tastes the same. If you put the jam on, then the peanut butter first. It doesn't matter. But for some students with autism, they gotta have things a certain way. Sometimes drives me crazy. Doesn't matter if you put the peanut butter first or the jam, but they get in their head, the peanut butter gotta go first. And if you put the jam on first, boy, they start freaking out. All you did was change the order. It didn't change anything. But someone with autism, they like a structured kind of routine, the same old thing, done the same way. It's very hard for them to be flexible. All right, next page. But for people with autism, their brains work differently from other people's brains. So here's all the kids in the classroom. They're playing, they're doing centers. I see these kids are playing with some cars together. Oh, this poor little girl, she's over here playing by herself because she really doesn't know how to interact with the other kids. They may look the same as everyone else, because surely she looks just the same as the other kids. Yeah. On the outside, but inside, the way this girl is feeling, the way her brain is working is totally different. They're like everybody else is around them speaking a different language, or they're from a different planet sometimes. So they feel left out sometimes, and sometimes they don't even want to mess with you, because I'm just going to play by myself over here. Much easier. People with autism may find that big crowds or loud noises are very scary. So see here? These kids are all having fun because it's not sensitive to their ears. She doesn't care about the horn being loud. She doesn't care that the drum makes a loud noise. He's yelling, yay! But this little kid over here, that sounds like a football stadium. So loud it's hurting their ears. It's painful, actually really hurts their ears, and it hurts their brain. So sometimes it can be frightening. Next page. They may repeat the same words over and over again, or move their bodies in the same way that looks strange to you. So here's a little girl, she's looking over here, and the little boy is doing this with his hands. That's called flapping sometimes. We say flapping. But that's how he reacts to all the stimulation around him, because things that don't bother you and me could bother him. Even these fluorescent lights, you and me, they don't bother us, but these fluorescent lights make a very small humming sound. And sometimes people with autism, they have such good hearing that they can hear it. Or the flickering of the lights, you and I, we can't see it, but they can. And it bothers them. When you talk to them, they may not look at you, and you may wonder if they're hearing what you say. And yes, let me tell you, they are hearing what you say. They're trying to think about everything you're saying, but they're hearing all of it. Even small changes can be very upsetting to them, and that's why they may always want to sit in the same chair, or read the same book, or use the same cup. So here is a little boy in a red shirt. This is the student with autism. He is getting a little concerned and anxious because that's his chair. So even Miss Rhoda, I see kids and they say, that's my chair. Well, really, technically, it's not their chair. It's the school's chair. But this student has been sitting there and he thinks it's his chair. So if that happens, this little boy should just move over and say, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was your chair. Let me move over here. That way this young man can sit down and he doesn't get upset because he thinks this is his chair. And that's okay. Look, I don't care. I can sit in any chair. If he needs this chair, I'm going to get up and give it to him because that's being a friend. These habits help people with autism feel safer and more able to deal with the things that they are feeling. So when things are always the same, and I got the same schedule, and I do the same thing, and I sit in the same chair, you drink from the same cup, these things, they make me feel good and safe inside my boa. Oh yeah. But if you make me change my chair, and I gotta listen to the lights and see the flickering, and I gotta hear all the noise, I start getting anxious. And that's what makes them nervous. So sometimes we gotta help them out. Turn the page. most of us are pretty good at finding ways to ignore things that we don't want to see or hear. You and me, I just do this. If I don't want to ignore something, or I turn my head. But for people with autism, it can be harder to ignore these things. You and I might find it easy to ignore, although even sometimes I find it a little hard sometimes. They find it even harder to ignore. All the sights and the sounds, even smells, boys and girls. You won't believe it. You walk in the cafeteria and you smell waffles in the morning. You're like, woo, give me some waffles. I'm hungry. Some people smell that and they're like, ugh, I cannot stand that smell. Oh, that's just, I cannot go in there. It stinks. And it bothers them. It doesn't bother me. I love waffles. So, sights, sounds, and smells all around them come rushing into their brain like a big, giant wave. And when that happens, they may feel lots of confusion all at once. See this little boy? He's hanging onto his mama's leg because he is very confused. All this sounds and sights coming on at once, he's very confused. So he's hanging on to his mama. And that's okay, because moms make us safe. People with autism aren't bad. They're not behaving wrongly. They're just different. And it's okay to be different. And sometimes being different is a good thing. Some people with autism have amazing talents and skills. Like, look at this little man. He knows how to play the piano, and all he has to do is listen to a song, and he's playing the piano. I can't even do that. This little girl, she's on the computer. Somebody only showed her one time, and she's already, ding, she's finished. Are you kidding me? How'd that happen? Because they're amazing. They may be good at music, or painting, or remembering things. They may be really good at math or understanding computer programs, or really good at fixing things. When people have autism, it can be hard for them to understand your jokes, or use their imagination, or pretend games where you have to pretend, like putting on a bow and a wig. Like Rhoda loves to dress up and play. But sometimes people with autism have a very hard time understanding all that. They don't understand imagination, and they don't understand your jokes. You know, like why the chicken crossed the road? To get to the other side. Oh, you didn't get that either? You know, he's on one side of the road, he had to get to the other. You didn't laugh? Ay, ay, ay. All right, turn the page. Being with more than one person at a time can be very upsetting, and it can be hard for them to make friends. So having just one friend, that's something. But then when you have all these people around, ooh, this little girl's a little nervous and anxious. Sometimes I get like that in a really big crowd. But we all need friends to love and support us. So if you know someone with autism, try to be a good friend. Be kind and patient. Don't expect him or her to grow out of it. They're not going to grow out of it. This isn't something where, oh, next year he'll be better. No! These are things that they have to live with. That will not happen. He or she will always see the world differently from others. That's just the way they are. They're always going to see things differently than you and me. And that's okay. But with love and support from everybody around them, people with autism can learn to feel happier and safer each day. There you go. There he is with his nice family and his dog and his mommy, nice and safe. The end. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening to this story about autism. And you're going to hear a lot more stories this month all about autism and how people with autism might need our help and support. So thank you for listening, and have a good day.